Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Painted Arrow podcast. Today, we're in the studio. We got a cup of coffee in hand. We got Devin Cole here.
Howdy ho.
Howdy ho. You're kind of known for like that raspy, like low.
Is that right?
And yeah, I think so. But we're sitting here and we're both tagged out.
It's true.
God bless. In our home state of Michigan, and we're sitting here talking about like where we're going to be hunting next year, what next year looks like already, what changes we're going to make to the farm, land management, the deer that we're still seeing on camera, what we think they're going to do next year, all these different things surrounding our farms.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you guys who have been following, in the last 6 months, Devin and I both became licensed land agents in the state of Michigan, which means we are legally licensed, willing to conduct transactions of real estate.
That's right.
And it's been something that I don't know. We've been wanting to do this for some time because we're very, very passionate about ground.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here as we're thinking like, hey, where are we going to be hunting next year? We're thinking this would be a good opportunity for us to sit down and kind of tell you guys how we initially bought land, how we got into land. And the intention is that, you know, there's a lot of people out there that it's their dream to own some amount of ground. And I think we said this on a previous podcast, but like one thing I think everybody has in common is they just like want privacy.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, everybody's entitled to have a little bit of privacy with their home.
Sure.
And land is one of those things that's just been so beneficial in our lives and our families' lives. And
it feels I think it feels a little less attainable for people with prices continuing to climb and all, you know, it's a culture thing too. Like when our grandpas were our age, you didn't have to think that hard about trying to find a place to hunt. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
Greg from church would let you just go out there and bang them.
Yeah.
But everybody's a little more protective of their deer and their land culturally. And so, you know, there's obviously public land opportunity, but I just think there's more of an emphasis on people wanting to buy land so that they have a place to go hunt because they don't know, you know, the opportunity is not as abundant as it used to be, I suppose, to just kind of hunt wherever or get permission or yada, yada. But I've also heard it put that the best time to buy land is yesterday and the second best time is today. And it's really easy to, you know, get in your head about it and, you know, interest rates are high and I want to wait for those to come back down. And, you know, you end up in this waiting game and wanting to see the market correct or better suit, you know, what it is that you're looking for. But when you look at the long-term trajectory of land prices, they just have climbed.
Which is good and bad.
Up and to the right.
It's bad because it's expensive currently, but it's great because you can count on it appreciating over time.
That's right.
So
they're not making any more of it.
It's funny because I hear a lot of people say that, right? Like,
well, it's kind of economics 101.
yeah, but like I almost like don't like hearing people say that, but it's 100% the truth.
Yeah, it's a finite resource.
It's almost sounds like a cliche in my head when I hear people say it.
It definitely is.
But it's real. It's the truth. They're not making any more of it, and everywhere you look, I mean, I think all cities are growing. It seems like all cities are growing. Like there's just more people, right? Like there's more mouths to feed, more is required. But you know, I just think that the more that I think about your and I's journey together and like how we've created the business Painted Arrow and how we've evolved and as men, as hunters, as landowners, like I don't know. It just feels like we've been really blessed to,
Heck yeah.
we have, but like we've been really blessed to, like, I don't feel like most people owned any amount of land when they're like, if you look at people who own 40 plus acres,
Yeah.
let's call it 20 plus acres at the young, ripe age of like a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Like that's when we were like,
It's not a lot of, yeah. But I think, again, there's like this narrative that goes with buying land and that you got to have a bunch of money. And realistically, like, you know, you and I, we can be as transparent as we need to be. I will be with like prices and everything, but like the first home I lived in didn't have any land with it. And that was sort of by design. It was a starter home.
mm-hmm.
We kind of lived in that for a season of life and saved our dollars. And the first piece of land that I bought was an 11-acre chunk with a house on it that touched my parents' 20-some acres that they own. And I bought that 11 acres in the house for $140,000. And you just got to start there.
Can we be more specific? Like that wasn't really a house. It was more of a,
Yeah, it was it wasn't a trailer. It wasn't still on axles. It was a manufactured home though.
I thought it was like a legit double wide.
It was, but they took the axles off of it and they were laying underneath it. It was sitting on a foundation.
I just think that that's so cool.
It was a double wide trailer they brought in 2 pieces. They tore the axles off of it and they set it on a block foundation.
I wanted to say that because I think it's the coolest thing in the world. Like I feel like you can look at your kids and say,
yeah, you're sort of chuckling because you understand it a little better. Yeah. But like the home we left for that was infinitely nicer. Like we had a really nice starter home. It didn't have any land, but that was okay because I still had, my family's ground that I was able to hunt. And we lived in that for a while. And I remember this was right around the time of COVID when prices were really starting to climb substantially. And I looked at my wife and I was like, what if we just list our home for a number that it was so crazy that if somehow we got it, we would just leave. We'd figure out what we were going to do because we didn't have a plan on where we'd go. And she was like, okay. And we dialed up a number that was like pretty substantially more than what we bought it for 3 years before. And literally,
I love it. We dialed up a number.
And then literally in 3 days, I think the first 48 hours, we had 3 offers over ask. And I kind of looked at her like, oh shoot, we didn't ask enough. Like, now we got to figure, like they bid it up. It bid it up. It ended up selling it for $15,000 more than what we listed it for.
That's excellent.
But then we were like, where are we going to go? And this is when I had found out like, oh yeah, my parents were like, the neighbors next door said someday that, they'd be interested in selling their property to us because they're going to, move on and do something else. And I said, I'm going to go knock on their door right now and see if they want to sell it because we got to go somewhere.
So take me back to that right, like that place and time right there. I'm going to ask you questions here right about that. So were you excited and nervous about like what the next step would be? Because in your personal life, you think your wife is pregnant. Yeah.
So that's what I was going to say. I was excited because I had never owned land before. So owning my own little 11-acre piece that touched the property that I grew up hunting. Like,
but hold on. But when you originally listed the house, was it like with the intent like we're gonna own some ground, or was it just like this is just gonna better our family and we can upgrade?
Yeah. So let me back up. The forever goal was a piece of land of like 20, 30 acres or more and a nice house. Like that was the forever goal
at the age of like 20.
Well, no. I mean that we didn't expect to have it at 20, but that was the goal. Like that's what we were working towards. Yeah. So we bought a starter home. We listed it for this crazy number that if we had sold it, we were like, we'll move into something maybe even substantially, not as nice.
But like when you moved into the very first home that you sold and got like your goal, even before you bought that, was like someday.
Oh, we were working towards land. Yes.
That was your goal.
It was like honey,
dream.
Yes, sat down with my wife. Okay, we will live in a neighborhood for this season of life, but the end goal is land and a house. So that was what we were working towards. And we thought we would just live in the starter home for a longer period of time while saving for that thing.
Yeah.
But then given all the events that sort of followed COVID, I was like, man, what if we just sell this thing right now and see what happens? And then because it sold so quickly, I was like, okay, we need a stepping stone, because we weren't in a position to afford what it is that I wanted for the forever goal. Like I said, I wanted, 20 or 30 acres or more and a house that we could grow in with a family.
So let me go one step deeper then. I'm trying to understand Devin Cole a little better.
Okay.
At that initial stage that you just painted out, hey, we're going to live in this neighborhood. Why did you want to own land at that age before you owned anything? Like, what made you, like, why is that the forever goal? Like, what in your mind, if you can remember at that age, was like, this is what we need to strive for? Like, what was it to you then? Because it might be different now.
Yeah, some of it was hunting related, but most of it was just because of how I was able to grow up. My parents had 22 acres, and my sister and I would literally set our alarms on Saturday mornings to like wake up and go build a fort in the woods. And so I just remember growing up and having people come over, like specifically friends and kids and whatever. They'd be like, your parents have 20 acres? Like, we can just go play wherever we want. Like, it was so different from when I would go to other friends' houses, and it's like you're on this little lot in a neighborhood, and which is fine. Like, that's great. But I guess to answer your question, it was just because I had the luxury growing up of just going outside and doing whatever I want. Like, it felt so big, and you can just do whatever you want.
It's funny, like, we obviously went to grade school together.
Yeah.
I remember having that feeling coming out to your place.
Yeah.
And the strip of timber where some really good hunting current day. Like, I remember going out there and the water being like really close.
All the way up, yeah.
And I can picture that clearly.
Yeah.
And that was over a decade ago.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking the same thing, like we were riding our dirt bikes in there on that track, and it was just like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. It's to answer your question, it's because I was spoiled growing up. Like, my parents bought their 22-acre piece. They built their dream log home, and they've lived there forever. Mm-hmm. And I got to grow up that way. And so, I don't know. I just always said I wanted to have land.
Yeah.
And was pretty clear about that with my wife. And so it was like, okay, well, we'll live in the neighborhood short term, early on, save our money. And then the plan was always something like, I'll get my land and we'll build the house that you want.
Yeah.
That's what we thought we were going to do.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we listed it. It sells very, very quickly. We're in a position where the heck are we going to go? I had heard that the neighbor potentially would be interested in selling in the future. I knocked on their door, sort of explained the situation. I'm like, is there any chance you're ready to make a decision now? And we literally sat at their dining room table and came to a number.
That time, the first knock.
I think I planted the seed the first time, and they said, come over on Tuesday and let's talk numbers. Something like that.
Wow.
So I went back that next week, and we literally like shook hands and like, and I was like, I'll have an attorney write it up. Let's do it. But the thing was, it was not super nice or livable. I mean, it was livable, but essentially there was a lot that needed to happen to it to make my wife to make my wife feel okay about moving into it with a newborn, because she was very pregnant at this time. And so sold the house, had 30 days written into the contract of occupancy left. So sold it, and then had 30 days to renovate. Man, I can't even believe I pulled that off, because I'm trying to think, like, how did I must have closed on the new one first. I don't know. I must have closed it. I don't remember. It's crazy how the timing worked. I think I closed on the new one like within a day or two of closing on the one that we were living in.
Yeah, so you weren't floating anything.
Wasn't floating anything, but then I had 30 days to be out of the one that we just sold. So I had to renovate the whole new one in 30 days to be able to move in. And we moved in on like day 29. And it was like 82% of the way there. There was definitely projects that were not done. But I'm talking about ripping out walls, replacing the whole kitchen, brand new subfloor, all brand new LVP through the whole house, put in a whole new kitchen. Like it was...
That what you just said to a lot of people might sound like a lot, but I was there helping you a lot of that.
Yeah.
And your dad was obviously doing a ton of that with you, but
yeah,
like this was like one of those ones that like you had to replace the LVP.
Well, we just had to replace it. So
like it wasn't like, oh, we could just live with the LV. Like you had to at the current.
The issue was the manufactured homes have particle board subfloor. Yeah. A lot of them do. And these people had pets. And so there was pee that really swelled up. Smelled horrible, but swelled up the subfloor in certain areas. So we had to cut a bunch of stuff out, patch in new spots there, especially around all the windows. Like the windows would leak down and then the subfloor would swell. So you had to cut those sections out, patch in OSB into those sections. And then we did a whole nother thinner OSB subfloor over top of all of the particle board. Because if we could get into the joist with long enough screws, it was drawing a lot of like the warp out of the other subfloor. And so, because you had to have a fairly level floor to do the LVP.
Right.
We're going down a rabbit hole
here.
No,
but this is, not to stray too much, but like, no, never mind. I that would stray what I was going to say. You keep going. So
here's the point I want to make. We left this pretty nice house in a neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you right now, like moving into a double wide with a pregnant wife, no AC in August.
Yeah.
Like something about though waking up and looking out the back window and just seeing like just my little 11-acre slice of heaven. It was, I can't even tell you the pride that came with it. I'm like, this is mine. And it was like the first hit of that drug where I'm like, oh, I'm going to own more land. And yeah, we lived there for a short time and renovated that. Sold it again to a family member, actually, my brother. And then we were able to buy the forever home that we were sort of hoping for. Right about 40 acres and house and a couple of barns.
I'm just trying to think. I'm gonna try and quickly tell my story.
Yeah, we got to segue quickly, but
but I want to like you teed that up perfectly. Like
to me, so if I'm able to draw a quick parallel between my journey and yours, I think it's the first one that sort of sets everything up. Like there's some sort of sacrifice early on, right?
Yes.
So like for me, bought a pretty nice house, sold it, and took a very intentional backstep into a dumper of a home. But it set the stage for significant saving of income and everything needed to then, it was the way I explained it to my wife is this is a shortcut to the forever goal.
The double wide.
We're taking an intentional step back. Many people in your life are going to look at you like you moved out of that to move into that. It's not going to make any sense.
Yeah.
But we cut our monthly requirement down to essentially nothing. And we're able to really increase the rate of savings to be able to, shortcut to that forever goal. When I think about your journey.
Well, what I really liked, what I was trying to get that you finally gave me was like the why early on, before you even owned the land. Like I wanted to know like why.
Yeah.
Like why was land? And like you said, like you had this, like
I had this pink experience growing up that was just uncommon from everybody I was around.
And so I guess I'll quickly tell my story. Like if I'm trying to get that same answer out of me, like I'm sitting here looking at my grandpa Hicks.
Sure.
And he owns this 30-acre apple orchard. And I remember going out there as a kid. Some of my absolute peak fondest
Core
memories.
memories, yeah.
Going out there. I got all boy cousins, 9 of us.
Wow.
9 boy cousins, and we're all super tight in age. And we would go out there and raise hell on Grandpa's 30 acres. Like, there was this, we called it the pothole.
Mm-hmm.
This is peak memory, core memories for Nate. Like the pothole. So it's like, I would say 20 of the 30 acres was tillable.
Okay.
And my grandpa's house, old farmhouse. So many good memories there, overlooking this big, beautiful field. And on the far end of the field, my uncle and my aunt lived over there. So my cousins lived down there. So like, a lot of times there's like, in between the two fields, there's like this low spot.
Yeah.
And we call it the pothole. It's just a little chunk of woods. And as a kid, like, we would just go out there and play. And so like, we'd get to Grandpa and Grandma's, we'd run down go see, Eric, Anthony, Will, like, we'd run down through the corn rows, like, and it felt like, I just felt untouchable. You know what I mean? Like, you could do whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
Apple trees, pear trees, you had grapes. And I just remember like that, like, I look back at that still and I'm just like, I miss it. Like, I wanted to like replicate that my whole life.
Maybe the point that I didn't fully finish off though was, I think as I got older, I wanted that for my kids.
Exactly. Exactly right.
Like, I wanted it because I was able to be raised that way and I loved it. But like, I want that for my kids. I want them to have that same thing.
Yeah, you want to raise them the same things
That's right.
You drew all that value from.
That's right.
And lessons, and you learn things you can't even, like, I know this sounds crazy, but like raccoons and squirrels and just possum, like, you had experiences, whether you remember them or not, just living out on a farm.
Yeah.
That just taught you just basic stuff that most people don't even know.
This is another random point, but I've heard it put too. Like, you take somebody who grows up in a neighborhood or in the city and you ask a little kid who grew up in that environment, like, what's the first animal that comes to mind? And they're like, giraffe.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
But you take a kid from Parma who maybe grew up on some acreage and it's like, what's the first animal you can think of? Like, raccoon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's you're more of a product of your environment, truly.
100%. And so again, a lot of this has to do with, I think what we're basically convincing ourselves here is how you were raised is a big thing about what your goals might be.
Yeah.
And my path I have a crazy path, but I instead of buying a starter home, I bought a starter boat. And it was truly.
But that was the early sacrifice piece, right? Like,
but it didn't, it was really weird because originally I convinced myself that I was moving to Montana. Like, we were moving out of state because it was too much of it just seemed so distant to own land. Truly. Because I wanted to move. Because of the cost. That, and just like, like, I just remember thinking, like, my dad growing up, the conversation between my mom and my dad, that I was always like, Dad, let's buy some land so we can go have our own land to hunt.
We can ride dirt bikes. Yeah.
And it's like, we talked about it forever and it never happened. We just talked about it. Like, that'd be so cool. Own 100 acres. Oh, it'd be so sweet. It never happened. So to me, it just felt like impossible.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, honey, we're going to move to Montana where there's thousands of acres of public land, and I can just, we don't have to
buy land.
We just live next to public.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, God led us to stay here. But living in this boat, I was stockpiling cash. I was working full time, wasn't married yet.
Let's qualify it just one step further. You bought a dumper boat that wasn't seaworthy off of Craigslist
for $6,600,
and you worked on that sucker on the hard, as they call it.
Yeah,
which is on giant jack stands, for lack of a better way of putting it.
I worked on the boat for 4 months, and the boat had a lot of water damage, and it needed a lot of fiberglass work done to it,
which you didn't know how to do, but you figured it out.
Had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah,
and I would basically work on the boat on the hard about an hour from where I worked in Grand Rapids. The gentleman I bought the boat from off Craigslist, turns out he's a really good friend still to this day. And he basically, he was a manager at a marina on the west side of Michigan, and he specializes in these huge fiberglass repair jobs. Like that's what he does.
Probably why he bought this boat.
Well, no, it was actually his boat for a long time.
Oh, kidding.
And he just has a lot of boats.
Yeah. Okay.
He's just one of those guys. Like that's his life. He's a marina manager. Like he runs the marina.
Yep.
And this specific marina is like the biggest on the entire Great Lakes for doing really, really, really big yacht repair work. So he knows exactly what he's doing. Like he knows exactly the material. He knows how to do it. He teaches guys how to do it. He manages that fleet. Anyway, part of the deal was like literally when we shook hands, like I'm putting my hand out to shake to Devin. Part of the deal was literally in this moment, I'm shaking this guy's hand. I'm like, you need to teach me how to do some of these repairs. I will do it. I will front for the money for everything, but I need you to like give me the lesson on how to do that leg. And I need you to let me leave that boat right where it's sitting on your property in the boatyard until it's seaworthy. And we shook hands. And he was almost excited because
the hustle.
The thing, yeah, exactly. He was excited about like, this guy's legit. Like, so I paid the guy $6,600. And I remember like my dad, because I called him as soon as I bought it because he knew I was like looking at doing it. And this is like a 3-level boat. I mean, it's a 34-foot, like
it's a huge boat,
fly bridge yacht, twin screw that's got 2 305. Like,
and they ran.
Oh yeah, engines. I got them torque tested before. This guy had all the knowledge about it.
Sure.
And I got the feeling like he wasn't trying to pull a fast one. It's like he just wanted this big hunk of aluminum off of his property.
Yeah, well, fiberglass probably more than aluminum.
Yep. Anyway, I start fixing up on this boat, get it seaworthy.
Yeah.
I probably dumped, I mean, over the course of me owning it, which is probably a total of 4.5 years, I think I put like somewhere in the ballpark of like $10,000 to $12,000 into it, like everything. Mm-hmm. But like initially I was just putting in like fiberglass and epoxy and, you know, balsa wood and like structural stuff, you know, like it wasn't like dumping money into a new stereo and a new.
Sure. You need to make that shit float.
Yeah. So that was crazy. But again, the path was like, I wasn't wanting to purchase a home in the state of Michigan because as soon as my wife graduated from school in college, we were jumping on a
jet.
Yeah. We were going out to Montana and we were going to try and set up shop somewhere. And my goal was literally to own a small piece of ground close to a lot of public land that was decent hunting and just like build a house and like travel around and hunt mule deer and elk and bear. Like that was my goal. And I worked for the Montana Fish and Wildlife, and I just fell in love with that country. It's just beautiful out there. Anybody who's been to Montana knows exactly what I'm saying. So God had different plans. As I'm living on this boat for the 3-year period, like I would live there during the summer months for 6 months, basically. And then I would rent month to month at different people's houses. A lot of snowbirds. I met a lot of snowbirds in Grand Rapids, and they'd go down south for the winter, and I'd rent their home month to month. And I was just putting cash away, like young guy, just out of college.
Good paying job.
Good job. And I was literally like, I was living like on nothing, living on love. And my wife graduates and all of a sudden we have some money and, you know, we start looking around and we paid $230,000 for right before COVID.
What's interesting though, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the time leading up to her graduating, we were in COVID. You were still kind of planning on going to Montana, but you just started walking farms just to walk them.
Well, all of a sudden I had a bunch of cash.
Yeah.
That's why. And it was like always a dream. Like I told you, like that's how I was raised. Out on the apple orchard, seeing my grandpa Hicks.
Yeah.
We'd go out and have big bonfires and we'd camp out there and we'd run through the fields and dirt bikes and tractors and dirt roads and farm country and cows next door. Like that's how I grew up. That was my fondest peak core memories. And my grandpa died in 2016 and I just remember like they had to sell the farm. And so all of a sudden like my little nugget of like my escape was gone. And all of a sudden I had some cash in my pocket and we're looking at like truly like everybody in my life was teed up to know that Nate and Lexi were going to Montana. All of a sudden I got a little bit of money and I'm like, I'm going to just go. I got real interested in land.
Yeah.
And I think I walked a dozen properties and
I can remember a couple of them. I didn't even go to you with them, or go with you to them, but I was there in spirit, not like on FaceTime and stuff. And
Yeah.
there was one over here, be like northwest town somewhere, and you jumped a huge buck that was injured, I think. Remember that one?
Yeah. A lot of the places that I was walking it was the more affordable, larger tracks, because I had
With the
I don't
dumper
even know.
house.
Yeah, and like I was really, handy, felt confident at that point.
Yeah.
With renovations and whatever, but we ended up buying a farm. I was working remotely, kind of, so I could kind of work wherever my job allowed for that at the time, and we bought this 66-acre farm with a barn on it and a totally wrecked house for $230,000.
Mm-hmm.
Which at the time, like, it didn't feel like a real great deal, but looking back, it was a smoking deal.
It was a smoking deal.
Like, you couldn't do that again.
No.
But what really helped me to get the good deal was the fact that the house, like, I mean, everything but the block wall. I mean, this is a house. This is an old farmhouse built by the farmer, like 45 to 55 years before I purchased it. But like, the main beam underneath the house was sitting on a old paint can, an old Sherwin-Williams paint can filled up with concrete. Like, it wasn't a real spec type house. Rough. It was built by the guy, like the old farmer. And it was an old dairy farm, and it was just like a lot of the farm, like around the living area and the barns, were just like old tires and old fence posts and tons of old barbed wire, just trash everywhere, oil cans,
everything,
milk cans. Like, the barn was the inside was a nightmare. The loft was a nightmare. There was bees everywhere. Like,
one of the pole barns had burnt down in a fire.
Yeah, so the inside, like, all the lumber on the inside was like charred lumber, and it looked good structurally. Like, it wasn't gonna like tip over, but it wasn't like this beautiful place by any means. Dirt road, real rough drive. Like, the driveway was destroyed. Like, in the winter, you know how it was just like it was a hard sell for my now wife, and kind of painting the picture, like, you do sacrifice for the first one.
Yep.
And I just look back at both of our wives, and I don't know if we're good salesmen but I just look at early in our marriages.
Yep.
Like, what a great way for us to, I don't know. I just look back and I have a lot of fondness for like that time of, like, they truly trusted us. Like, I look at Logan, I look at Lexi, and like, they truly, I mean, actions speak louder than words. And we both, I mean, again, we had steps forward, but like, there's a huge sacrifice that a lot of people don't see.
That's right.
And I don't know. It's just hard. It's a lot harder than we're even making it sound. Like, it was a big, big undertaking for me to rebuild a house with no prior experience other than doing some fiberglass work on a boat. And
yeah,
like, it was a huge deal. I had to completely rebuild the home. And I knew that we bought the property kind of right. Like, I knew we got a good deal on it. So like, I'm building equity in the home, and but the thing about this place was, it was a dream come true, kind of like what you're saying. I remember when we were building the house, we had like an old bucket that we would take a number 2 in out behind the barn. And this was a big,
before you had running water and septic and all that.
Yeah, like under construction, like we having to.
Had to redo all that.
Had to go out back to use the restroom
facilities. Yeah.
And I remember this specific, what I'm about to tell you, kind of like your moment when you look out back and you see your little sliver. I didn't have a little sliver. I had a big chunk. And I remember I think I was 21.
No.
22.
You had been quite a bit older than that.
Really?
Yeah.
How old was I? I was 21. So I was 23 or 24.
Yeah.
So I was 20, let's call it 24. I think that's actually more realistic. I was 24 years old.
It was 2021.
2021.
So it was 4 years ago. So how old are you minus 4?
26. 26 years old.
Yeah.
So I'm 26 years old. Thank you. I like to be accurate. I'm 26 years old. And I remember this specifically. Like, they call it a luggable loo.
Yeah, I know all about it.
It's a 5-gallon pail with like
Yeah.
the lid is like a toilet seat. So I'm like, that was what we had. I bought that because I'm like, what else are we going to use? I'm out there right behind the barn.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking, the house is kind of like up on this hill,
Yeah.
and it kind of rolls down into this bottomland, and there's pheasants and there's turkey and there's bucks, and it's just like mine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there, I remember, and it was spring right when we bought it. And like, I could hear the birds, and I'm sitting there just looking at my land. And it was a dump at that point. I mean, it had there's a tire pile, like it was rough. And I remember just thinking, like, this is the coolest thing ever. This is mine.
Yeah.
And kind of like you said, it's that initial hook, that drug.
Oh, yeah.
We were like, man, I'm going to do more of this.
That's right.
And now we could go on for another 2 hours talking about what happened since both of those times. But I think the point of this, guys, is, that's like what we're saying to you is truly why we got into this, land agent thing. Mm-hmm. And we've our brokers, Mossy Oak Properties, they specialize in larger rural homes, agricultural tracts, big hunting pieces, mm-hmm. timber mixes. Like, we have created, we've through our own experience, we've learned a ton of hard lessons.
Sure.
And we've sharpened our skills, before we even decided to do this. And now with our broker and some of the guys there and the knowledge that they have with doing the transactions, like, we're sharpening our axe even more. Mm-hmm. And we truly, 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 truly want to help others, like, pursue owning land.
Yeah, just because I think because of what it's done for each of us, right? Like, it's more attainable than people think. It's not easy, or everybody would own land. Like, it does cost money, but there's some creative ways to accomplish it. You got to be willing to sacrifice if it's something you truly want. But the opportunities are there.
I think it's more attainable than people think, and
mm-hmm.
I think the creativity, almost all the pieces that we've bought are not necessarily on the market either.
Yeah, one of mine was, one wasn't.
Yeah, and so I think if there's somebody out there listening to this, and you are, let's call it, moved by kind of some of the things that we're saying, and you're like, man, that'd be really cool if we could, if we could figure out a way to, maybe it's 5 acres.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 1. Maybe it's 150. I don't know. Like, if you're out there and you're listening, you're like, man, it'd be really cool. Like, we want to, like, kind of help you. I mean, we want to guide you in any way we can. Obviously we're in Michigan, like, we're licensed in the state of Michigan. We can't go down to, Alabama but if you are looking, we do have a pretty good network of other agents.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say is, even if it's outside of the area that we can help with, we can refer you to somebody who's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just created a Painted Arrow Properties Instagram page.
That's right.
And it's exactly like it sounds. Painted Arrow Properties.
All one word, no underscores, no nothing.
Here's what we want to ask. Here's our ask. If you guys are out there and, like, we struck a chord with you just by kind of sharing our stories, and you're like, man, I'd love to get more information about, like, I don't know, just even seeing if I'm, like, is this something I can actually do? Which I believe the answer is yes, but just go on there and follow us.
Yeah. And
follow what we're doing. I mean, heck, if you want to reach out to us, send us a message. Like, we'd be happy to, connect. And again, we're not in this necessarily for the money. We're not in this necessarily for the fortune or fame. Like, we want to help other people, and that's truly why we started down this road of becoming agents. And it's just a really cool thing to be helping people. And we feel like we've learned a lot of lessons that we can help people on their first or second or third.
That's right. And I think we're going to try to do a pretty good job of sort of doing like a land profile on there, as we're closing transactions, and to the extent that the people want to be transparent about all of it, I think we're going to share some of that because it helps people kind of relate to other people's situation. Like, oh, I could afford that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, if you, I'd love to know what other people's whys are. Truly, like for you, you spelled it out. For me, I spelled it out. It's kind of how we were raised. But like, if you're listening, you own a piece of land, maybe you're wanting to, like, I want to know what your why is. Like, I want to know the
nitty gritty.
Yeah, like send us a message. Tell us why. What's your why? And like, I want to help people. I really do, because it's transformed the way that I live.
Yeah.
Like it's been a dream my whole life to own a piece of land.
Yeah.
And to like say that, we haven't even talked about this really, but I'm building a house right now on a new piece of land.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even explain to you the excitement.
Yeah, just because of what you're going to be able to give to your kids.
That's exactly it. I'm thinking of my boy.
It's a version of exactly how you grew up.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't even explain to you. I think it's worth pursuing. I mean, there's definitely challenges. I mean, there's definitely sacrifice, but if you're willing and able, it's worth it. Mm-hmm. Land is worth it.
Couldn't agree more.
All right. Closing thought.
I'd say, yeah, just follow the Painted Arrow Properties page. We're going to be pushing a little harder on, I would say, on that arm of the business as, deer season's closed, babies are here. We're on kind of the backside of the busy season of Painted Arrow. And this is sort of the next thing that we've had earmarked to really start to roll out in a big way. And so I think you'll just start seeing a lot more content from us there. And if you're in the market or you're interested or you want to be in the market, get a hold of us. If you want to just follow along, follow the page and just see what we're up to.
Agreed. We appreciate it, guys. We do. We love what we get to do every day. And it's an awesome time of year. We got Thanksgiving coming up. We got our Black Friday sale coming. That's going to be starting on the 26th. And, that's one you don't want to miss. If you want a good deal, that's the one you don't want to miss. Yeah. Our product line is just great for gifts because of the price points. Like everything's pretty much under $100.
That's right.
And, yeah, I mean, it's a great time. So anyways, guys, thanks for following along. Shoot us a message, man. Like, I want to know what your why is. Let us know, like,
how we can help.
Yeah, how we can help you guys in any way. So, all right. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.